Here is the S&P 500. 4,600 is right here. We talk about this level many times. This is a meaningful level, 4,600. Tested a few times. Previously acted as a support. Zoom out a little bit here. You can see that here is some support. That's the breakdown. That's the back test. And also further back test. This is actually called a uptrust after distribution, because after the uptrust, a temporary commitment, you actually have a significant sell-off. This is a sign of weakness. Anyway, this has become the next target. If we just base on the chart alone, this will be the target as well. Once we have a breakout of this level, the swing high at the moment is about 4,500 or 4,490. Then if we have a commitment above this level, then the next level should be around 4,600. So that's very straightforward. And to just tally with the seasonality chart that we look into earlier on, 4,600 based on like average of the 2% gain in the first 2 weeks in July. That is about right in terms of the target. And last Tuesday, we talked about there is a stopping action. I mentioned that there is a effort versus result when we compare these two bars, suggesting that there is demand coming on this bar, but still supply is dominating. And what we want to see for the bullish case is a change of character. Here we go. Right after that, that's on Tuesday, this was a change of character. This is by far the best up wave that we have ever seen out from this downtrend. This is pretty much just a straightforward downtrend, and this is bearish bar every day apart from here. But in terms of the spread or in terms of the progress to the upside, this is by far the best. This is considered as a change of character. After that, then we can safely assume that, well, this could be a reversal. Okay. After that, the development is very bullish. It just ramped all the way up to the previous swing high. And in fact, it closed above the previous close right here. This is the best close that we ever have in this year, 2023. Yeah. In terms of the day is 30th of June. This also align well with the end of the quarter effect, which we talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. So in terms of the end of quarter effects, usually it marks as a significant swing high or swing low. So far, if that's really a significant point, that will be a high, a swing high. So we just want to see whether we will see another push up or whether this will be the high for now. In terms of the price action, I don't really see any threatening price action showed up yet. And in terms of volume, is very normal and in fact is relatively vibrant. We have a reaction previously that comes with decreasing of the supply if we compare to this strong rally up. And after that, we have somewhat similar volume level or slightly higher in terms of this up wave. Nothing unusual. It's just like a normal upswing, downswing. And right now is testing this level at about 44.90. This is the previous swing high level. And in terms of the previous resistance level is right here. This is the supply zone. We might need to see it test a few times. In case there is a pullback, then this could be the best or the most bullish case that we can consider. The shallow pullback, unlike this, means something like this, and then eventually have a breakout and to go to the 4,600. But if we take into account like, well, the first 15 days in July will be the best return for S&P 500, then on average, it gained around 2 or more than 2%. Then I think we won't really see a very long consolidation here. Might just have a few day test bar before it breaks out and then go to the upside about 4,600. Until we hit 4,600, we could consider that the upswing is still intact. And so far, we just need to see whether they will have some consolidation at this minor level or we'll have a straight breakout and then backtest to go to the 4,600 level. Dave say, will the S&P be symmetrical to last year, July before correction? Okay, let's take a look at last year, July. Last year. So you mean somewhere around August? Is it mid of August before a correction? So something like this, you mean the leg up, like something like this, and then eventually uptrust and then have a very sharp correction. At the moment, this is a much better up wave. If we compare the wave last year since the low here, this is like a bottom form, and after that we got a consolidation here and then a breakout test, and here is the swing up. In terms of the analog, I mean, this is a first leg up and then there's a consolidation that could be similar to this consolidation, and after that we have a strong leg up here. But the context is actually different in this case. You say, so July should be still heading 4,500. Yeah, in terms of July, based on the seasonality or just based on this chart alone, so far I don't really see a pullback happening or a correction happening yet. The least resistance part for S&P right now is to go up. So until we find supply or further resistance, which at the moment, this is definitely a level. And when we have a breakout of this level, then the next level should be around 4,600. But in terms of, you mentioned about something like this, hit a level and then followed by a correction. The context is different in this case. Because if you look at here, this is still at the left-hand side of the chart. We're still in a downtrend, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low here. But here, this is like a uptrend here. It's just different context. And in terms of the volatility, we can see that here, or even this up wave is very volatile. In terms of the spread, in terms of the acceleration to the upside, here is a lot more volatile. This is still, at least in part of the bottoming process, still very volatile, unlike what we just experienced here, less volatile, or here, a lot less volatile. And also in terms of the down wave or the reaction, you can see that since October low, the reaction that we have is at most like this. And after this too, is even more shallow like this. Even this uptrend, the pullback is somewhat shallow. Unlike here, on the left-hand side of the chart here, this is all the reaction, very volatile, very deep. The context is just different at a different phase of the structure. Here is sort of completed this accumulation structure. Once we have the breakout, it's very clear that these are all the levels that a lot of the traders, investors are actually watching, 42, 43. Once they see that there's no supply come at this level, then means that there's just not much supply. There is some form of a localized increase, but after that, look at this rally. The supply that the bear are hoping for didn't show up. That's why now is just enter into a straight uptrend, and we just need to look for some obvious level, like obvious resistance level or the supply level at about 46, and at this point is still 45. We need to see commitment above this level first before we challenge the next level, 4,600. In terms of other index, Nasdaq, we discussed the analog from Nasdaq before. There is 3 legs up in Nasdaq. And now for S&P 500, we are only at the second leg. So first leg, consolidation, second leg, pullback. Now it's a third leg up. It's still unfolding at the moment. But for Nasdaq, let's take a look at Nasdaq. In terms of Nasdaq, there is first leg, second leg, third leg, and into this meaningful level. This 2 point here is equivalent to 4,600 in S&P 500, but Nasdaq already tested it one times and have a pullback. Now it's just coming back to have another test. I just wonder how strong is this level? This is like the previous access level where we have a support. One is breakdown, coming back to have a test as a resistance. This will be a meaningful level. But based on the first reaction that we have seen here, and also the supply level, it doesn't look that scary, or at least not yet. The best case that we could have for the consolidation or the pullback is something like this: a consolidation while the rotation is going on, because Nasdaq consists of 100 big cap tech stocks, growth stocks, but I just doubt that they will just keep going up forever. It makes sense for a lot of the funds to just rotate out and to go into other mid cap, small cap, so that there are a lot more rooms to go up. This is one possibility for Nasdaq. But of course, if there is no supply, people just keep holding up the supply, then could just break through this level. We just need to see. But so far, I'm still hoping for a consolidation at this point, at this resistance zone, while the rotation is just going on, whether it's go to S&P 500 to support those 500 stocks so they could push to the next level, 46. And also, most importantly, is to the Russell 2000 together with other small and mid cap stocks. That will be a lot more fun because we'll have a lot more stocks to trade in terms of other bullish setup. Because right now, if we focus on the sector, apart from the ITB, the home builders, that we have covered it for many weeks or at least months for now, there are others like IPO team, consists of a lot of the growth stocks. If you look at IPO, this is a ETF ticker. Inside this IPO ETF, there are a lot of the aggressive stocks. They actually perform very well. For example, like Dash, Globe E, I'm not sure whether it's in IPO or not, but certainly Dash is outperforming, and ABNB is looking good as well, which we'll just look into that shortly during the stock watch list section. I just handpicked quite a number of the stocks inside this IPO ETF. And so far, this is the very obvious level, and that's Nasdaq. And in terms of Russell 2000, it's coming back up very fast, back to the swing high level 1920, which is a very significant level. If we have a breakout above this 1920 level, then I think that will be very positive for all the small and mid cap stocks. Once we have this clear, then the next level will be the swing high somewhere more than 2020, somewhere around there. 2020 is the next level. This is the first level that you need to commit above. And so far, I don't really see a very unusual volume or the price action. Everything looks very healthy to me. If you want to catch my latest videos, click on the subscribe button and the bell right now so that you get instant notification once I upload my latest video. If you want to check out my online courses, go to tradeprecise.com to find out how to profit consistently from any market without using complex indicator or understanding any financial statement, no matter you are trading or investing.